Bachcho, you are going to get a treasure today. I'm going to tell you I drafted one wonderful message to you people in the morning. I'm going to share with you. It's on a valuation of stock. It's a treasure. If someone would have told me this particular message when I was a CA course student, I would have made even more money from the markets than what I made so far. But unfortunately, no one told me this particular treasure. So I am sharing one secret of what I learned over the period of time with you people out of the Pandora box. So it's on a valuation of a stock. What I'm going to do is I written a message for you people, basically covering various thoughts. So I just wrote it basically because it has a lot of statistics. That's why I wrote it. Otherwise, I thought of taking it live directly, but there are a bit of statistics. So I have not done the proper formatting or anything, just basic formatting I did and I typed it. So I'm sharing that screen with you people. You're going to go mad after this lecture, whether it is for 30 minutes or for, I can go on. This is something that I gathered over the years. This is not something which is something which can be explained in a very short period of time. I hope you are able to see my screen. So let me just close up that MCA website. This is where I drafted Brahmastra batch. Let me go. Brahmastra batch. I drafted a word file. ADZ message is what I had saved. 23rd of June 2020. You'll be able to see a word file. Please bear with my voice. I'm not going to share this file with you people. I'm just going to discuss in the lecture. This is something very important. It just has some statistics. I'm going to come down to the valuation, but as I told you, I'm not going to discuss anything theoretical at all. This is something which is learning over a period of time. Somewhere in May 2019, I was surprised when the Warren Buffett invested about 23% of his portfolio in the one stock, and that was Apple. And at that point of time, he still had, after the coronavirus, I don't know what changes he has done to his portfolio. His portfolio, Berkshire Hathaway's portfolio. So there is substantial weight. I may be wrong in the percentage here or there, somewhat. That is what I read, and I was shocked. Boss, you are having 23% of your portfolio into one company, and the weight that he had at that particular point of time, this is what I took from a website. 45.37% was into, this is not as on today, this is about 1 year ago. This is somewhere May 2019. So 1 year ago, that's what I written at the top in May 19. So 45% of money was invested in the financial services sector. Technology had invested around 23%, that is Apple. And consumer defensive sector, 18.52% is what he had invested. I did not have that much of money available at that point of time because over the last 4 or 5 years, my majority of the investment has gone into the real estate, that is basically premises at Indulal complex and somewhat at a Prestige Point. So I'm not having too much of weight onto the equity shares right now. Whatever shares I own are a very minimal value right now. But I was shocked कि यार इतना weightage इसका 45% he is keeping. And then I went on analyzing why it could be. Berkshire Hathaway's newsletters, I read it, and I got some hint from it. I may be wrong. Obviously, I am nowhere close to Warren Buffett. But what I learned from him by analyzing what he was doing, that is what I shared below in this particular text I written. And you will understand reasons of it. एक 2-3 pages से मैंने लिखे हुए. This is so I'm just telling you from where my thought process started. This line I would have told you earlier also. Just tell me whether I told you this line earlier or not. This is a line which I started loving a lot over a period of time. Long-term business need to get better with the size. In a long run, in a long term, business needs to get better with the size and not worse. That's exactly what these 4 sectors offer. This is not a line that Warren Buffett wrote. This is what I understood from what portfolio he created. Did I tell this particular line in the recorded lecture somewhere or in the live lectures? I should have explained this particular concept somewhere. You should try to invest in the businesses which get better with the size, not worst with the size. अरे कमीनो टाइप करो यार, कहीं ना कहीं तो एक्सप्लेन करना चाहिए मैं. Let me just communicate with some person so that who can unmute the mic? Some intelligent fellow. Badsawade, unmute your mic. Mr. Badsawade, unmute your mic.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did I explain this particular line? Some example or something like this?
No, sir. You had just mentioned this line.
Okay. Let me explain this with the help of an example. This is a learning that I learned after a lot of mistakes. Let me tell you. This is a learning that I got from some partial booking of profit that I did in the company called the Dilip Buildcon in 2017. And then I learned Dilip Buildcon is a company which has a good company, good track record. It is a #1 road developer in India. But in spite of that, the share price has collapsed in the last 2 years from 1,200 rupees to somewhere around 290 rupees right now. 290 or 280. I don't know the exact price. And when I went on analyzing, yeah, where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? And then this is a line which struck to me. Road construction business, if you start getting bigger and bigger in the size, you start constructing more and more roads, or you start getting bigger and bigger, it doesn't help you in terms of increasing your profit margin, because to construct a more road, you need a more infrastructure or more capital assets, like maybe a bulldozer or maybe a cement mixer or maybe other equipments, or you require a more workforce. So you have to hire a more workforce. So, and as you hire a more workforce, let's say you build a 4 or 5 highways or 4 or 5 roads, you build up and you start hiring more people. And as you go on building more and more roads, you go on adding more and more persons onto your payroll. And later on, if your orders don't start coming in, or there is a probability that orders may not come in, you will have to bid even at a lower margin just to ensure that your workforce is employed, your workforce has some work. तो आपने बिजनेस का साइज बढ़ा दिया, लेकिन साइज बढ़ाने से आपको प्रॉफिट कुछ नहीं हुआ. क्यों? साइज बढ़ाने की वजह से आपको अब हर प्रोजेक्ट के लिए बिडिंग करना पड़ेगा जस्ट टू एंश्योर दैट योर असेट्स, योर एम्प्लॉइज गेट द वर्क. आपका मशीनरी जो है, ये जो है, उसको आपको काम मिलना चाहिए, तो इसलिए आपको बिडिंग करना पड़ेगा. तो दिलीप बिल्डकॉन, I observed that they were bidding for virtually every project at an even lower price because they wanted to ensure that their assets remain utilized. And there was a fear that they may not get a new project because of the elections in 2017. Madhya Pradesh government Madhya Pradesh Congress came to the power. These companies from Madhya Pradesh, and they had a significant exposure to Madhya Pradesh at that point of time. So they started losing certain orders, and then obviously the impact came on the share price. But at current price, I find Dilip Buildcon to be attractively valued. Please remember, whatever I'm discussing in this entire lecture is not an advice for investment at all. This is a statutory disclaimer that I'm making very clearly. I'm just discussing for the purpose of education, for the purpose of learning. If you invest and if you suffer losses, you are responsible on your own. So I'm not asking you to make an investment at all, but I'm giving you my views. So at present, I find Dilip Buildcon to be better. I have suffered a loss in Dilip Buildcon. I'm telling you that also in the past. But when I analyzed, I understood that it is a learning. You should always be open to learn out of your failures. And that is why you should be writing weekly tests also. I'm making some off-the-cuff remark, but you should writing a weekly test so that you come to know about your mistakes. And it is absolutely sad to get the performance from your batch or response from your batch. I was really not expecting it, but let it be. So, company like Dilip Buildcon or company like Larsen and Toubro or companies which are engaged in infrastructure like something like Thermax from Pune city, these companies don't get better with the size. As they go bigger and bigger, the size becomes a problem. Margins, they can't improve the margins substantially. But look at, as opposed to this, look at the business like Facebook, look at the business like Apple, or look at the business like Google, or look at the business like IndiaMart or InfoEdge, Naukri.com or Zomato, or look at the business like something like PolicyBazaar.com, or look at something like Just Dial. These are the businesses. Or look at the business like HDFC Bank or financial services sector. HDFC Bank opens a new branch. So new branch में ज़्यादा loan देते हैं, चालू हो गए. Their cost doesn't go up. So they can scale up. They can scale up without increasing the cost. HDFC Bank or any banking business or any NBFC can keep on giving the loan from the same branch. HDFC Bank acquires one branch, keep on giving a loan disbursement hota raha hai, ho raha hai, business grow ho raha hai, और margin bhi grow होते रहता है. It doesn't, see, it gets better with the size. So banking business or financial services business are the ones which get better with size. They get better with the size. Generally speaking, I'm not saying for every bank, a well-managed bank or well-managed NBFC, they get better with the size. Bajaj Finance has got better and better with the size because they can implement a technology. With the technology, they can acquire the customers. The Bajaj Finance has acquired a large number of customers by using the technology in the recent past. The last 1 month, they have made a huge innovation in launching new products. They launched a new product of fixed deposit. There is a huge liquidity in the system. So Bajaj Finance came up with the new online product for fixed deposit. That's basically because they are better with the size. They can implement so much of money on the technology part. They can spend a huge amount of money on the technology. Imagine if Ekatom is a very big entity, then we can spend a huge amount of money on technology and we can give the state-of-art technology. But for that, you need to be that big, which is not possible. So you need to understand that there are certain businesses which get better and better and bigger with the size and better with the size. So try to invest. So when I understood Warren Buffett's portfolio, and this is the weightages, these are top weightages that I've taken. This is not total, is not 100% if someone is trying to take a total. So I understood that he is basically betting for those businesses which get better with the size. I have written 4 sectors there. That is, I have bifurcated that into the other parts. I have given the 4 sectors at the bottom, last part of the section. And then, in my opinion, this is my opinion. This is not a textbook knowledge. This is my opinion. I'm making it very clear. 99% of the value of the stock is determined by 3 important factors. ये आपका जो DCF वगैरह जो स्कूल कॉलेज वाला थिंकिंग होता है ना, वो एक बेसिक थिंकिंग है. मैंने आपको DCF सिखाया होगा because yes, this is the basic thinking. But at a real life level, if you start go on to implement these things, ये DCF वगैरह वैल्यूएशन सबको पता है यार. मेरे को DCF पता है, तुमको पता है, जिरपे को पता है, काटीकर को पता है, वो तिवारी जी को पता है, सबको पता है. DCF is not something which is rocket science. So what you need is learning. So in my opinion, the 3 factors matter a lot. Those who understand these factors will prosper in their life in terms when you start making investment. First, opportunity size of the business. I explained these factors below. Second is a competitive advantage. I kept on talking in the lectures about EVA. Those students who have learned FM lectures, I would have talked about EVA. But Zaware, EVA बोला क्या नहीं मैंने कभी सिखाया क्या नहीं तुमको?
Yes, sir. You had explained.
So EVA is a difference between the cost of capital, which is simply as an interest rate you can refer to. Cost of capital is not an interest rate. I know that. Cost of capital technically is the expectations of, it is a weighted average cost, interest rate plus the equity put together. But I'm referring to interest rate. I'm basically trying to talk about financial, ये जो लिखा है ना मैंने, difference between the cost of capital, that is interest rate, and ROCE. I'm talking about the financial leverage. Those students who have watched the lectures of leverage will know. मैंने आपको एक मलाई का एक चीज सिखाया होगा. मलाई सिखाया क्या मलाई? अरे बड़सावड़े useless fellow.
Yes, sir.
I would have talked about return on equity using normal formula and return on equity using financial leverage. मैंने आपको एक formula सिखाया होगा. ROE is equal to ROCE into 1 minus T plus the debt equity ratio into ROCE minus rate of interest into 1 minus T. ऐसा एक formula सिखाया होगा.
Yes, sir. You had taught this formula.
और मैंने उसका जुग लिमिटेड और फास्ट लिमिटेड का प्रूफ भी दिया होगा मैंने.
डेरिवेशन भी दिया.
हाँ, डेरिवेशन, अरे मालूम है, सब कुछ सिखाएगा, हमको रट्टा नहीं मारता है. So this is the second factor, competitive advantage, and the third factor is a competitive advantage period. ये 3 factors मेरे लिए बहुत important है. तीनों को मैंने नीचे explain किया. This is what I want to explain in today's session. Tomorrow's session we'll discuss some more things if at all I find it relevant. So first is opportunity size. इसके लिए मैंने एक पेपर पढ़ा था. I'm giving you source because this particular the factors मैंने identify किए, but वो factor का explanation के लिए मेरे को एक पेपर मैंने पढ़ा था. This is a very old paper. This is a research paper by Potters and Anita Magan, whatever the pronunciation of her. She's an Indian married to an US fellow. The emergence and the sustainability of abnormal profits. That done a study, and that data was drawn from 1981 to 1994, which covered the various activities of companies traded in the United States. So in that research report, they divided the returns of the stock on the 4 main parameters. So, जो बिजनेस पे तुम इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हो वहां पर अपॉर्चुनिटी है क्या? मैंने आपको लेक्चर्स में बहुत बार बोला का मोट 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 MOAT मोट मोट इज अपॉर्चुनिटी. आप ऐसे कंपनी में पैसा डालना चाहोगे जहां पर अपॉर्चुनिटी बहुत ज्यादा है, बहुत ज्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटी होनी चाहिए. So they divided returns of the stock in the 4 broad parameters. In the initial years of the inception phase, they said the returns are about 3-4% only. Industry which they run, 44% of the factor matters. मतलब कंपनी का जो रिटर्न है वो रिटर्न के पैरामीटर्स क्या है? Year of inception, कब चालू हुए थे तुम? मतलब did you start the business at the earlier phase or did you start the business after everyone had entered in the business? Industry in which you operate, the corporate parent, who is your holding company, and management quality. These are the factors which drive. These are the factors which are driving returns of a stock. So year of inception is just 3%. It's not that important. They're saying that what is mattering most is the industry. Bet on the right industry. जिस industry का opportunity बहुत बहुत ज्यादा है, उसके ऊपर आप bet करो. Management quality 34%. तुमने business कब चालू किया इतना relevant नहीं है. Like you will find out lot of businesses. Telecom, जियो ने तो telecommunication में बहुत सबसे late entry किया है यार. तो जियो को उस हिसाब से profit मिलना ही नहीं चाहिए. So year of inception is not that relevant. Reliance जियो का example लो या DMart लो. DMart तो बहुत बाद में आया. Big Bazaar उसके पहले से था. Big Bazaar का मॉडल पहले से था. या भारती ने एक चालू किया था. आई फॉरगॉट. भारती वॉलमार्ट ने एक चालू किया था. आई जस्ट फॉरगॉट द नेम. और आदित्य बिरला का स्पेंसर था. स्पेंसर वाज देयर बिफोर डीमार्ट. बिग बाजार वाज देयर बिफोर डीमार्ट. देखो स्पेंसर बिक गया ऑलरेडी. अपना बिग बाजार का तो मालूम नहीं. मुकेश अंबानी इज प्लानिंग टू टेक अ स्टेक इन द बिग बाजार और फ्यूचर रिटेल एंटरप्राइजेस. सो ईयर ऑफ इंसेप्शन इज नॉट दैट रिलेवेंट. जो इंडस्ट्री में आप ऑपरेट कर रहे हो वो इंडस्ट्री कितना बड़ा है. बड़ा है तो बेहतर है. हाँ. So the interesting point is 44% of the high performer stocks were because of the industry tailwind. Tailwind is the scope. I'm just trying to use some fancy language here. In India, the good thing is that the opportunity is in every business. There is in India, the good thing is that there is an opportunity in every business, but most of them fail to scale up. That is, they should get better with the size. There are only few managements who understand how to scale up with the speed and the quality also. If this test was done in India, my guess is that the management specific factor would have gone up from 34% in this test to the 70%, and industry would have been just at 30%. Because see, management specific, the ability of management. See, ये जो 4 factors उन्होंने identify किए थे by Potters and Anita Magan, they had identified the factors for return of the stock as year of inception. Business कब चालू हुआ था, industry, corporate parent. Like corporate parent matters a lot. like आपका जो holding company है, जो group companies है, वो matters a lot. And management का quality. In India, management quality would matter much more than what is there in the United States, because basically you are betting on the people. You are betting on the people. You are betting on the industry. So opportunity size होना चाहिए. So first factor that drives the value for a business is opportunity size. More size. जो factor कंपनी में तुम इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हो वो, या जो इंडस्ट्री में तुम पैसा लगाना चाहते हो, तो वो इंडस्ट्री का स्कोप है क्या, अपॉर्चुनिटी है क्या इन अ नियर फ्यूचर. तो वो कहां से आइडेंटिफाई करने का, वो अगला पॉइंट है. देखो सेकंड पॉइंट, कॉम्पिटिटिव एडवांटेज. दिस कॉम्पिटिटिव एडवांटेज इज नथिंग बट बेनिफिट ऑफ ट्रेडिंग ऑन इक्विटी. अगर आपके बुकिश लैंग्वेज में बात करूं मैं, डज अ कंपनी earn more return on equity capital employed more than the rate of interest? Does a company earn more than the rate of interest? तो मैंने आपको जुगजुग लिमिटेड और फास्ट लिमिटेड का एग्जांपल दिया होगा एफएम में. जिन लोगों ने लिवरेज का चैप्टर किया है, नहीं किया होगा तो इट्स ओके, यू विल लर्न. सो देयर आई हैड एक्सप्लेन्ड दिस पर्टिकुलर कॉन्सेप्ट. तो उसके ऊपर मैंने एक बहुत अच्छा सा फॉर्मूला लिखा है. देखो, लॉट ऑफ पीपल हैव रिटन लॉट अबाउट द वैल्यू ऑफ द फर्म. थ्योरेटिकली द वैल्यू ऑफ द फर्म इज बेसिकली, मैंने सिंपल लैंग्वेज में लिखा है, स्टेडी स्टेट वैल्यू. स्टेडी स्टेट वैल्यू मतलब बिजनेस ग्रो ही नहीं होता. देयर इज नो ग्रोथ. अज्यूम देयर इज नो ग्रोथ. तुम वो कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल के चैप्टर में जाओगे तो ग्रोथ का एक ऐसा बढ़िया सा फॉर्मूला आपने प्रेस्टीज फंड में एक बाबा जी है उन्होंने चालू किया. पार्ले जी, जी माने जी, मैंने बोला था ना रे बड़े बड़े, मैंने तुमको कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल का,
हाँ सर बोला था.
क्या था रे वो शॉर्ट, आई जस्ट फॉरगॉट.
सर पार्ले जी और डीपी वाला बोला था आपने.
हाँ डी बाई पी, हाँ एक अप्रोच है कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल में, डी बाई पी अप्रोच विद द पार्लेजी। व्हाट्सएप पे डीपी लेने का, डीपी, डीपी इज डिस्प्ले प्रोफाइल या राइट, डिस्प्ले प्रोफाइल।
स्टॉक, हाँ ये सर।
तो पार्लेजी खाने का ऐसे, और उसका साथ फोटो खींचने का और व्हाट्सएप पे डीपी लगाने का, दैट इज डी बाई पी प्लस जी अप्रोच। क्या बोलते हैं उसको, डी बाई पी विद जी अप्रोच। तो ऐसा एक मॉडल है। तो बच्चों ग्रोथ नहीं है, ग्रोथ यू विल लर्न। मैंने आपको ग्रोथ का एफएम के कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल में ग्रोथ कैसे कैलकुलेट होता है वो एक्सप्लेन किया होगा। ग्रोथ इज बेसिकली रिटर्न ऑन इक्विटी मल्टीप्लाइड बाय रिटेंशन रेशियो। अरे कभी ने एक्सप्लेन किया था कि नहीं एक्सप्लेन किया था ग्रोथ?
यस सर, गॉर्डन्स मॉडल का एक्सप्लेन किया था।
हाँ गॉर्डन मॉडल, करेक्ट। दो स्टूडेंट्स हु वॉच कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल चैप्टर विल लर्न इट। ग्रोथ होता है, लेकिन अज्यूम करो ग्रोथ नहीं है तुम्हारे बिजनेस में। स्टेडी स्टेट वैल्यू इज अ वैल्यू ऑफ द बिजनेस अज्यूमिंग नो ग्रोथ। तुम अभी जितना कमा रहा है उतना ही तुम कमाएगा फॉर एवर, अज्यूमिंग इट इज अ गोइंग कंसर्न। स्टेडी स्टेट वैल्यू इज अज्यूमिंग नो ग्रोथ इन द लाइफ, बट ऑब्वियसली यार ग्रोथ तो होगा ना। ग्रोथ इज लाइफ, वीकनेस इज डेथ, स्वामी विवेकानंद said. So future value creation, second part of the value is future value creation. Steady state value without growth, future value creation plus excess cash minus the debt, that is okay. That is, this is steady state value is without growth, this is future value creation assuming certain growth. ये कैसे कैलकुलेट होता है बताता हूँ, नीचे मैंने लिखा है। प्लस ये फॉर्मूला नहीं है, एग्जाम में बिल्कुल मत यूज करना। आईसीआई के लोग तुमको निगेटिव मार्क देंगे। आईसीआई विल से दैट यू आर मैड। ICI will never understand such kind of things in the real life at all. ICI is मतलब नहीं भाई, मेरे से नहीं होगा। MBA कोर्स में वगैरह में ये ऐसा देख सकता है किधर। प्लस एक्सेस कैश, एक्सेस कैश क्या है? कैश मतलब कैश एंड कैश इक्विवेलेंट ऑन द बैलेंस शीट। जो आपको वैल्यू ऑफ द फर्म होता है, वैल्यू ऑफ द फर्म इज बाय यूजिंग द एसेट्स, कैश इज समथिंग व्हिच इज आइडल। सो ऐड एक्सेस कैश माइनस डेट। माइनस डेट क्यों किया? टू फाइंड द वैल्यू ऑफ इक्विटी। सो दिस इज स्टेडी स्टेट वैल्यू इज अ वैल्यू ऑफ द फर्म। मैंने आपको ये तुमको एक्सप्लेन किया है मैंने, नेट ऑपरेटिंग इनकम अप्रोच, नेट इनकम अप्रोच, मैंने मोडिग्लियानी मिलर अप्रोच एक्सप्लेन किया होगा मैंने।
यस यस सर, एक्सप्लेन किया है।
कैपिटल स्ट्रक्चर थ्योरी, मोडिग्लियानी मिलर अप्रोच, वहां पर मैंने एक्सप्लेन किया था वैल्यू ऑफ द फर्म। वैल्यू ऑफ द फर्म में से वैल्यू ऑफ डेट माइनस करो, वैल्यू ऑफ इक्विटी मिलता है। सो यू शुड ट्राई टू डू द वैल्यूएशन ऑफ द फर्म फर्स्ट एंड फ्रॉम दैट यू शुड डिडक्ट द वैल्यू ऑफ डेट। वैल्यू ऑफ द फर्म इज आल्सो नोन एज एंटरप्राइज वैल्यू। तो ये जो है ना, ये जो मैंने अभी सिलेक्ट किया है, यू कैन सी दिस एंड आई एम हाइलाइटिंग इन येलो कलर, दिस इज वैल्यू ऑफ द फर्म। बट थोड़ा दिख रहा है ना रे?
हाँ दिख रहा है सर।
वैल्यू ऑफ द फर्म प्लस एक्सेस कैश माइनस द डेट, दिस इज एंटरप्राइज वैल्यू। उसमें से डेट माइनस करो, इक्विटी का वैल्यू मिल जाएगा। हाउ डू यू कैलकुलेट स्टेडी स्टेट वैल्यू? आपको कोई भी बिजनेस का वैल्यू निकालना है, कितना वर्थ होना चाहिए उसका। टुडेस प्रॉफिट, करंट प्रॉफिट बिफोर टैक्सेस, बिफोर ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट इज व्हाट यू शुड टेक डिवाइडेड बाय कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल। अगर आप एफएम का अपना नैनो बुक भी खोलते हो ना, नैनो बुक में आपको इसका फॉर्मूला मिल जाएगा। आई डोंट हैव नैनो बुक विद मी, बट इफ यू हैव नैनो बुक, उसमें आपको फॉर्मूला मिल जाएगा। वैल्यू ऑफ द फर्म इज इक्वल टू ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट और ईबीआईटी लिखा होगा मैंने वहां पर। बड़ा थोड़ा आवाज बंद कर, ईबीआईटी जब पूछेगा तभी आवाज चालू करने का। ईबीआईटी डिवाइडेड बाय कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल, कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल मतलब केओ दिया होगा मैंने वहां पर। सो ये फॉर्मूला के पीछे लॉजिक बहुत सिंपल है। देखो सिंपल लॉजिक बोलता हूं, मारवाड़ी लॉजिक, बढ़िया लॉजिक। लेट्स से कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल और इंटरेस्ट रेट इन द इंडिया इज 10%। अज्यूम 10%। मैं अगर 100 रुपया बैंक में डिपॉजिट करता हूं तो मेरे को 10 रुपए का ब्याज मिलता है, इंटरेस्ट मिलता है। अब मैं ऐसे कंपनी में पैसा डाल रहा हूं जो कंपनी मेरे को 5,000 रुपए का प्रॉफिट दे रही है। 100 रुपीज इफ आई इन्वेस्ट, आई गेट 10 रुपीज। तो अगर कंपनी का प्रॉफिट 5,000 है, 100 रुपीज के लिए 10 रुपीज मिलता है, लेकिन मेरे को कंपनी 5,000 दे रही है प्रॉफिट, तो 5,000 के लिए कितना वैल्यू देना चाहिए? 5,000 क्रॉस मल्टीप्लीकेशन करो, 100 10 10 के नीचे 5,000 एंड क्रॉस मल्टीप्लीकेशन, सो इट विल बी 5,000 into 100 upon 10. I hope everyone has understood it. 5,000 into 100 upon 10, so 10 times of it basically. 10 times मतलब आएगा 50,000 rupees. 50,000 rupees should be the steady state value of the firm, assuming 5,000 is a profit that company earns. So मैंने नीचे एग्जांपल भी लिखा है, बहुत बेसिक एग्जांपल है। That is the steady state value, मैंने प्रिंटिंग मिस्टेक किया, टाइपिंग मिस्टेक किया। Steady state value of a company in India, if a firm is generating 100 per year with a 0% growth, your profits is equal to 100 divided by 12%. मैंने 12% interest rate ले लिया, is equal to 833. तो अगर 12% is the interest rate and company is earning 100 rupees of profit every year, company should have the value of 833 rupees, or in a reverse way it should have a P ratio of 8.3. 8.3 समझा क्या रे बड़े सावड़े?
हाँ सर समझा।
8.3 कैसे लाया मैंने? 833 is a value divided by 100. PE, price upon earnings. FM के लेक्चर जिन्होंने देखे होंगे उसमें P रेशियो मैंने एक्सप्लेन किया होगा। So 833 upon 100. right? 8.3 is what your P ratio is. So 8.3 P ratio is a P ratio assuming steady state value and assuming cost of capital to be 12%. 12% is a decent cost of capital. Matlab, it is expected rate of return. Cost of capital matlab expected rate of return. Those I would have explained cost of capital. अब ये पहला पार्ट हो गया बच्चों. देखो मैंने क्या लिखा था, स्टेडी स्टेट वैल्यू प्लस वैल्यू ऑफ क्रिएशन. बट ये जो वैल्यू है 8.3 P ratio is without assuming any growth. If you continue to earn the same profit for the next many years, 8.3x. बट बिजनेस में ग्रोथ तो रहेगा यार. कौन सा आदमी है जो ग्रोथ नहीं चाहेगा जिंदगी में? जिरपे को देखो ना, जिरपे कैसा ग्रो हो रहा है. कले कलेने वाढतोय तो. हा दररोज तो चंद्र कसा वाढतो ना थोडा थोडा, तसा हा दररोज वाढतो थोडा थोडा. सो एवरीवन लाइक्स अ ग्रोथ. जैसे जिरपे का ग्रोथ हो रहा है एक्सपोनेंशियली वैसे. सो ग्रोथ इज अ लाइफ, वीकनेस इज डेथ. जिरपे एक्सक्यूज मी. So how do you create a value? Look at this equation. This is a wonderful equation that I understood, and this has helped me a lot. Investment capital, the total money that you are invested, that is capital employed. In a simple language, capital employed multiplied by return on the capital employed, ROCE, minus cost of capital. मतलब are you able to, मैंने आपको लेक्चर्स में बोला होगा अल्फा. This is called अल्फा. क्या बोलते हैं इसको? बट साहब अल्फा. हाँ, अल्फा मतलब earning some differential return, earning something more. So return on capital employed minus the cost of capital is alpha. Are you earning alpha? Yes. On how much amount? Let's say your return on capital employed is 18%, 18, और cost of capital 12% था. तुम 18% कमा रहा है, लेकिन expected rate of return 12% है. इसी को ही ईवा बोलते हैं. ईवा is in return in rupees terms. ईवा याद है क्या?
याद है सर.
ईवा का एग्जांपल वगैरह दिया होगा ना, मैंने क्लास में एक एग्जांपल लिया होगा मैंने ईवा का.
लिया है सर. 2 सम्स लिए थे.
2 सम्स लिए थे. अच्छा, रिकॉर्डेड लेक्चर्स में जिन लोगों को देखना है वो देखो. तो मैंने ब्रह्मास्त्र बैच में तो सिखाया होगा मैंने. सो दिस इज बेसिकली अल्फा. सो 18% तुम्हारा ROCE है. फॉर एग्जांपल ROCE का फॉर्मूला वो तुमको समझेगा. आई एम नॉट एक्सप्लेनिंग द फॉर्मूला नाउ. ROCE is basically operating profit divided by capital employed minus the cost of capital. So you are earning alpha of 6%. 6% on what? This total capital. So 6% on total capital you are earning multiplied by competitive advantage period. ये कितने साल तक कमाओगे तुम? You are earning something more, but you will not earn something more forever. This is the real point that I want to explain. You do not earn exponential growth forever. You growth matches. तुमने strategic management में business के phases किए होंगे, business cycles, SM या maybe BC के chapter. But sorry,
strategic management में है sir.
तो business cycles बोल मेरे को. तो कहीं तो maturity आएगा. तुम्हारा whatever technical words. There is some phase where the business reaches maturity and then there is a decline,
yes,
or
there is decline. Yes.
Then there is a decline or there is stagnancy.
Yes sir.
Stagnation phase. Whatever phases you would have learned. So बच्चों, the real game that you need to understand when you do the valuation is to understand, and I will explain this with reference to a particular company also little later by taking a numerical valuation. ये जो करके मैंने InfoEdge में पैसा लगाया था, तो InfoEdge का मैं valuation ऐसा किया था. June 2019 में मैंने पैसा लगाया था InfoEdge में. InfoEdge is a company which owns Naukri.com, BharatMatrimony.com, sorry, BharatMatrimony, my mistake, Jeevansathi.com, Policy Bazaar. These are the portals, and Zomato also they have investment in a Zomato. InfoEdge करके company है. It's a platform. So how much are you earning extra into investment capital into competitive advantage period? Divided by what? Cost of capital. Divided by cost of capital is basically to find a present value. I just want to say that do the discounting of this, because अरे बट सावड़े,
yes sir,
you are earning 18%. Expectations are 12%. How much extra are you earning?
6%.
On how much amount?
The capital invested.
Capital invested. Let's say capital invested 10,000 crore. 10,000 crore into 6%. Bol.
10,000 crore into 600 crore.
600 crore you are earning extra. But 600 crore you will earn extra for the next, let's say, 5 years. Assume karo.
30,000 crore.
30,000 crore. Useless fellow. 600 into 5 is 3,000.
Oh, sorry sir. I thought
3,000 crore you will earn. But वो 3,000 crore का present value निकालो. That is divided by cost of capital. तो मैंने क्या किया? 2 parts को add किया. So in my opinion, this is not the model. I am not the great person, but I have understood. I made a money using this particular formula. So मेरे को ये अच्छा लगता है. तुमको follow करने का करो, नहीं करना है मत करो. I don't care. That's why I got the title ADZ message. ये मैं कोई model, किसी का model नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. तो मैंने क्या किया, दो चीजें ऐड की, स्टेडी स्टेट वैल्यू, अगर बिजनेस ग्रो नहीं हुआ ना तो ये इतना वैल्यू है, प्लस ग्रोथ का वैल्यू माइनस डेट करो क्योंकि इक्विटी का वैल्यू मेरे को चाहिए। आई होप यू अंडरस्टूड। इससे ज्यादा पैसा मैं नहीं देगा कंपनी को, इससे ज्यादा अगर कंपनी का वैल्यू है मार्केट में, थोड़ा बहुत ज्यादा है तो इट्स ओके है, मतलब यू शुड नॉट से सर 1 रुपी ज्यादा है सर, मतलब यू शुड नॉट डू दैट चिल्लर। इससे अगर कंपनी का वैल्यू मार्केट में बहुत ज्यादा है परसेंटेज टर्म्स में, आई विल नॉट बाय दैट शेयर्स ऑफ दैट कंपनी, आई विल नॉट बाय। क्यों? इट इज ओवर वैल्यूड कंपनी, आई शुड बाय समथिंग व्हिच इज फेयरली वैल्यूड, एंड इफ इट इज सब्सटेंशियली बिलो दिस वैल्यू आई विल स्टिल नॉट बाय। व्हाई? सब्सटेंशियल बिलो मतलब कंपनी का कोई वैल्यू नहीं है इसलिए मार्केट में मार्केट प्राइस कम है। So companies which are close to the fair value is something what I would love to buy. So this is how I calculate the value of the firm. So ये value हो गया। अब ये मैंने यहाँ पे लिखा, this formula is extremely important and shows the firms which can consistently reinvest at high ROCE. Profits which you earn, you should be reinvesting at high ROCE will be massive wealth creators. Future wealth creation boils down to how much money company invests, at what spread is gap alpha, at what spread the investment earns relative to the cost of capital, and for how long the company will be able to make that excessive returns. For example, DMart can consistently invest the capital as it buys at 25%, as it buys at lower thing at 25% for a long time. I believe so. That's why the DMart has value. DMart gira nahi hai jo during COVID-19 pandemic. If you see, the only share which has really other than the pharmaceutical sector, other than pharma sector, which has not suffered a huge blow even in the month of March 2020, is DMart. मैंने आपको DMart तो कितनी बार लेक्चर्स में बोला होगा, कितनी बार बोला होगा. The very important thing that this formula shows is that not all growth is a good growth. Growth adds a value only if it can be reinvested at ROCE which is higher than the cost of capital. The reinvestment of the growth is very important. जो प्रॉफिट तुम कमाएगा वो प्रॉफिट का तुम प्लाउ बैक कर सकता है क्या, एंड कैन यू अर्न ROCE हायर देन कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल? दैट इज व्हाट इज गोइंग टू क्रिएट द वैल्यू फॉर द कंपनी. You create a value. Coming back to our equation, the value of the firm is steady state value plus future value minus the debt. ये हो गया, minus the value creation. The equation allows you to disaggregate the value of the company into commodity component, that first term, that is a steady state value. अगर वैसा ही रहा, commodity मतलब commodity क्या होता है? ये commodity है, ये glass है, ये ऐसे कैसे रहता है? commodity है. ये मेरा फोन है, ये ऐसे कैसे रहता है? steady रहता है, ये उसमें कुछ चेंज नहीं होता. तुम commodity नहीं है, तुम्हारा ये मेरा बाल बढ़ता रहता है, इधर बढ़ते रहता है, साइज बढ़ते रहता है. कमोडिटी नहीं है मैं ना, मैं आदमी है ना. एंड द फ्रेंचाइजी कंपोनेंट, दैट इज, ये मेरे टर्म्स है, कमोडिटी कंपोनेंट व्हिच इज स्टेडी स्टेट वैल्यू एंड फ्रेंचाइज कंपोनेंट व्हिच इज द सेकंड टर्म, दैट इज रीइन्वेस्टमेंट रेट व्हिच इज फ्यूचर वैल्यू. दिस लेट्स यू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ मच यू आर पेइंग फॉर अ फ्यूचर वैल्यू क्रिएशन. सी, कंपनी का जो वैल्यू है, दिस इज टोटल ऑफ द टू माइनस द डेट और एंटरप्राइज वैल्यू. अगर तुम उससे ज्यादा पे कर रहा है, you will not make a money in the market. The formula also shows the impact of the growth. For the companies that have the large spread between the return on invested capital and the cost of capital, rapid growth adds a lot of value because they can keep on reinvesting. For the large negative spread, the growth subtracts a lot of value. That is wealth destruction. Whether the growth is good or bad is contingent on the incremental return. The quality of the growth matters. हाँ, आप लोग अभी बोर हो गए होंगे इससे मैंने क्या लिखा है. आई एम श्योर यू माइट बी वंडरिंग व्हाई आई एम गिविंग सो मच ऑफ ज्ञान टुडे. आई नो इट इज वेरी बोरिंग, बट बिलीव मी, दिस विल हेल्प यू टू अंडरस्टैंड that we will be, what we will be doing going forward. The country is going through economic slowdown. India is going through economic slowdown. There are no large trends in the market. If you see the market, Indian market is right now driven by only few companies. We need to make sure that we are more prepared than anyone else with the kick-ass models. This is what I started liking a lot recently for the next bull market. I still believe that India is not in a bull market. Whatever rally we have got is a bear market rally, because I still believe the corona pandemic, India or the world has not overcome it so far. There is a second wave of the coronavirus that is coming up. Whatever the rally that we have seen is basically because of the $5 trillion of the money that is printed by the US Fed, European Central Bank, Japanese Central Bank, and UK Central Bank. So these banks have printed a lot of money. That's why you're seeing a massive rally in the markets right now. This rally can fizzle out anytime if the corona pandemic has a second wave, which is disastrous than the first wave. I can't predict, but looking at the situation in the United States right now, 26 states in the US right now are showing even more and more cases. We are not done with the first phase. They are started with the second phase. God knows. So in case this corona pandemic is controlled, then yes, obviously we will have a huge recovery in the markets. We'll have a bull market. I am still believe India is not in a bull market phase. I still believe. My view could be wrong. I am okay with it. And the third factor that matters for creating a wealth, I told you first factor, जो business में पैसा लगा रहे हो उस business में क्या होना चाहिए? Opportunity size होना चाहिए. That business should have competitive advantage. That business should create an alpha. That business should create an alpha. And the third factor that I'm talking about is competitive advantage period. In a capitalism, I can guarantee you that as soon as someone makes the money, there will be competition which will pop up. Someone else will come up and immediately will start his shop also. And the companies will compete with each other along the dimensions such as price, service, new product introduction, promotion, and advertising. Take an example of CA coaching industry. About 15 years ago, when I was taking education, there's only one Premier Academy in Pune city. Now there are so many classes. You take up with any sector, your competitive advantage does not remain longer forever. It is not going to be possible in any industry. Today there is a DMart. DMart is a leader in the retail market, but Jio has launched a JioMart. I hope you people know. JioMart has making a good advertisement right now. और टेलीविजन पे बहुत खतरनाक एडवर्टाइजमेंट कर रहा है जियो प्लेटफॉर्म्स का, जियो मार्ट और जियो के जो है अजियो करके के उनका, या जियो के जो फैशनेबल वेयर्स है उनके अच्छे एडवर्टाइजमेंट जियो कर रहा है, गुड एडवर्टाइजमेंट. एंड दे आर कॉपिंग एप्पल लिटरली इन टर्म्स ऑफ मेकिंग एडवर्टाइजमेंट, टेकिंग सम मॉडल्स व्हिच आर नॉट सेलिब्रिटी मॉडल्स. एप्पल का एडवर्टाइजमेंट सुन के एप्पल ने कभी कोई सिनेमा वाले सलमान खान या शाहरुख खान ऐसे लोगों को, या वहां के जो भी सलमान शाहरुख खान है यूएस के, उनको कभी हायर नहीं किया एप्पल ने अपना खुद ऐसे मॉडल्स वगैरह लेके एडवर्टाइजमेंट किया. जियो इज फॉलोइंग द सेम थिंग. रिलायंस का एडवर्टाइजमेंट देखो तुम, सलमान शाहरुख को कोई नहीं मिलेगा तुम. वो जो क्रिकेट का एडवर्टाइजमेंट था उनका वो ठीक है, वो आईपीएल वाला जो था, आईपीएल का मुंबई इंडियंस के लिए जो था, दैट इज ओके. सो डीमार्ट is earning good money, but DMart is not going to be possible for DMart to earn it forever. PVR है, but PVR को competition आ गया, Inox आ गया. PVR is so old, PVR is older than the Inox for your information. लेकिन Inox entered. So you will find out every business there will be competition that will come up. So, हाँ, there are some businesses where there is a barriers to entry. कुछ businesses है जो barriers create करते हैं. Like telecommunication में capital is a barrier. There are some businesses where barrier is created, but as long as there is no barrier to entry, competition will come up. So competitive advantage period depends on three things. Production advantage. For example, see, Varun Beverages, this is a company which makes bottles for Pepsi, which makes 22,000 bottles per minute for Pepsi. अब उसके size और उसके scale को match up करना किसी competitor के लिए, किसी bottler का, it is called as a bottler. Varun Beverages is a bottler. Bottling plant होता है उनका. तो किसी को वो लेवल पे आना और उसके साथ compete करना बहुत आसानी से possible नहीं है. So Varun Beverages will enjoy the production advantage for a very long period of time. Next one, consumer advantage, including the network effect. Like network effect, मतलब one customer brings another customer. Something like Colgate, Nestle, Asian Paint, Facebook, इनका network effect होता है. So they keep on bringing more and more people. Like just because I am there on the Facebook, my friend also wants to come on the Facebook. My wife also wants to come on the Facebook to see what I'm doing on the Facebook. So my wife comes up, so someone else comes up, someone else comes up. So this happens. You see, there is a network effect. So ऐसा होता है. So it happens on a network effect. A lot of companies are there. So ये advantage होना चाहिए. And the third factor is government advantage or crony capitalism. Crony capitalism, basically government gives you patronage, government gives you support, and then you keep on minting the money. Like IRCTC. IRCTC has a huge, this मैंने यहाँ पे लिखना भूल गया हूँ IRCTC. Like, and it is bloody nonsense that you need to give. IRCTC is a very good company. I understand IRCTC is providing very good catering service, but why the monopoly? IRCTC has a huge advantage just because it's the only player. Boss buddy, this is nonsense. You need to have one more player at least in India, or two more players who can provide a catering services for railways. But नहीं, कुछ नहीं कर सकते. Government है. Which happened for the public sector banks since Nehru's era, since Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, with the due respect to Congress fans, since the Nehru's era till almost Dr. Manmohan Singh's era, we had only PSU, privatization of the banks was started. You see where the Kotak Bank, I remember यार 2000 में Kotak Bank का एक शेयर कुछ 70-80 पैसा था. पैसा. It was not even 1 rupee. So Google will not be able to show you also value. Where the Kotak Bank has gone, it has created massive wealth. And where the SBI is, the SBI return will be same in the last 5 years. SBI is there where it was 5 years ago or 10 years ago. God knows, I don't know. I have to track it. So, hey, so it's not easy to determine the competitive advantage period, let me tell you very frankly. But the history tells us that the technology changes are typically responsible for 60% of the failures, as big companies find it difficult to adapt to technology. So why did I give you so much of GAN today? My conclusion is I wanted to explain that these 4 sectors can create a wealth and can sustain it. At the top, मैंने जो लिखा था, these 4 sector, consumer durable goods or FMCG basically. So consumers, basically consumer oriented companies, FMCG companies basically. So financial companies, financial services sector, quality companies in that, pharmaceutical sector and IT sector. Pick up some good companies. So FMCG, something like I like ITC here. I like ITC here. I like HUL here in the this particular space. I like even Nestle here. Financials, I like Bajaj Finance. I like Muthoot here. I like HDFC Bank here in the banking space. In pharmaceuticals, I like About India. कुछ अच्छे प्रोडक्ट्स बनाता है. तुमने बचपन में पेडियाश्योर खाया होगा. पेडियाश्योर मेरे बच्चे खाती है. पेडियाश्योर खाया होगा ना तुम लोगों ने. बड़े हो गए होगा ऐसे. हमको तो क्या सुकड़ी मिला था गांव में. ऐसा पेडियाश्योर वगैरह कुछ मिला ही नहीं था हमको. ए बड़सावड़े.
नहीं सर, मैंने नहीं खाया.
तूने नहीं खाया? क्या खाया बचपन में तुमने?
नॉर्मल शुगर.
नॉर्मल शुगर खाया. अरे पेडियाश्योर ये शुगर नहीं है. यूजलेस. इट इज अ न्यूट्रिशियस एलिमेंट. तेरे को क्या शुगर लगा? यूज
नहीं खाया है सर.
अरे नहीं खाया तूने. हॉर्लिक्स पिया होगा. हॉर्लिक्स
हाँ पिया है सर.
हाँ, तो हॉर्लिक्स के वगैरह जैसा आइटम है. अबाउट इंडिया बनाता है. मेडिसिन भी बनाता है. कोरोना वायरस का टेस्टिंग भी बनाता है. सो आई लाइक दिस अबाउट इंडिया. IT में बहुत सारे. Infi is something which I've been keep on telling you. So these are the sectors where you will understand the first line, where I started the lecture. These are the businesses which get better and better with the size. So what was the moral of this entire lecture? The value of business, to sum up the entire lecture, the value of the business is basically sum total of, this is what I learned, sum total of steady state value. That is, if the value continues like this, I call it a commodity component, plus wealth creation that happens due to the growth, due to the alpha, I call it the franchise, the good businesses, which can earn, which have a competitive advantage for a longer period of time. Just wait. I've been taking lectures since almost 4:30. 4:30 to 7:30 was foundation, and then 8 o'clock onwards, I'm talking to you. Next 11 o'clock now. So the point I'm trying to make to you people is the value of the business is sum total of the steady state value plus the value due to the growth. But the growth comes up because of the alpha, and that alpha being earned over a period of time. So steady state value plus the alpha, the total of the two minus the value of debt. That is how the valuation is being done. That is when the valuation is being done. So a lot of points. Barsawade is saying the spread concept was there in the article of Epoch Partners. Also, I know that. मैंने आपको एक FM के lectures में मैंने एक बहुत खतरनाक आर्टिकल लिखा था on the P ratio, PB ratio, इनका comparison के ऊपर मैंने एक, it was basically on a P ratio. Epoch Partner का मैंने एक आर्टिकल बताया था आपको. So I hope you enjoyed the lecture. It's a treasure. This is something which was no one has taught me. Absolutely no one taught me. If I would have learned these things at an earlier age in my life, of looking beyond the syllabus, I would have really made a good amount of money. And it's not that I not made a money. I'm not regretting, but this is something which you come to know by not going to the school or not going to college or not going to the books. Not going to the books. See, Warren Buffett has not gone to any school or any college or anything. He has not got this knowledge from the books. So you learn out of this. I'll be sharing such kind of things on the valuation of the business. So I explained one idea as to how should you do the valuation. This is one approach. Please remember, I don't use this as the only approach in each and every case. Do not be under the impression this is the only approach. There are a lot of things. I'll keep on explaining one by one to you people over a period of time. So I'll help you with some more models. Devang Katikar is saying, sir, I want to speak something. Yes, Katikar, speak. Let me allow Katikar to speak. क्या doubt है उसको? Yes, Katikar.
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Sir, मुझे कुछ doubt नहीं है sir. मुझे एक चीज बतानी है. I have experienced it today, so I just want to clarify one thing, sir. Many students think that along with the lectures, when you give certain practical knowledge, then they feel that it's not important. It's not important at this stage of intermediate. So today I had an experience, so I will share it with you. I have a friend who is studying for intermediate, and he is in some other class, and I just had a chat with him, and I asked him that what are you doing. So he gave me a reply. He was reading an English book, and he then asked me what I was doing. I was making a portfolio, and so I sent him a pic. And I said, and I was using the standard deviation and the XLR formula, CAGR formula to make the portfolio. And he asked me, what is a portfolio?
What is?
What is a portfolio? He did ask me that. So after that, I have to explain him that what was a portfolio, but it was a long time to explain. So I said, Nantar bol.
That's okay.
So I just want to say that the people who are not listening here, or people who are not just giving more concentration to practical things, I think that you will be the only person who will explain us a lot of things regarding the practical knowledge sense. Because I think no other person is explaining such things to the students who are at the intermediate level itself.
You are also one of them who is not sincere about attending the lectures.
Sir, I'm watching the lectures on the other devices, and I'm also giving tests, because you can reconfirm with my mother, because she is taking all my tests herself and giving me marks. When I say I got 1 mark, she gives me half. So it's not that I'm not doing anything. So, but still, sir, I really value all the education that you gave us, and really thank you for all this.
Thank you. So, friends, we will have such sessions. Maybe, I don't know, tomorrow. I'll try to take someone. There are a lot of things that I learned over a period of time about the valuation. So you would have understood. आज मैंने कुछ भी bookish. This is nothing about a formula or anything at all. See, ये चीजें जो है ना, ये थोड़ा मतलब you need to develop a test. TASTE, not TEST. You need to develop a test for this. वो बोलते हैं ना, मतलब वो एक बार तुमने टेस्ट डेवलप किया ना, वो बेवड़ा जो होता है ना, बेवड़े को एक बार एक पर्टिकुलर बोतल का टेस्ट लग गया ना, वो उसी के पीछे भागता है. या एक बहुत बढ़िया मूवी था, मतलब आई जस्ट एक भैंस रहती थी, गुलाबो कलर की भैंस रहती थी. आई जस्ट फॉरगॉट द नेम ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर मूवी. वो एक बेवड़ा है, आई डोंट रिमेंबर द नेम ऑफ द एक्टर. वो एक्टर को उसको एक पर्टिकुलर दारू का नशा लग जाता है, उसको कहीं भी वो भैंस दिखता है. I just forgot the name of that particular movie. Somebody can type the name of the movie. I don't remember the actor or actress. I just remember there is one. मतरू की बिजली का मंडोला. मतरू की बिजली का मंडोला. It was a freak movie, मतलब nothing great. I didn't like it, but वो जो है ना, उस मूवी में एक बेवड़ा रहता है. वो बेवड़े को एक गुलाबो करके कोई तो ऐसा दारू का ब्रांड है, कोई तो देसी दारू का ब्रांड है. एक्चुअल में है कि नहीं मालूम नहीं मुझे. So उसको वो लत लग गई थी. If you develop the liking or test towards the practical knowledge or concepts, my friend, let me tell you from my personal experience, you will remain young until you die. And that is very, very important in the life, to remain young, to remain extremely analytical, skeptical, with the common sense. I told you that's Dixon. Look at a Dixon. I did not know Dixon until I went to the Chroma for buying this particular Sony. Chroma is next to my house only. It's about 2 minutes from my house. So I just went, and there I saw this board. I said, which is this company? And then this fellow told me, sir, you don't know about this? I said, no. He said that the ACs ये सब कुछ जो है, ये हमारे white label जो products है Chroma के अंदर जो मिलते हैं, they are made by Dixon. And that's where I went on doing analysis of Dixon, and I liked it, and I picked up Dixon also. But that day what happened, that 12th of June वो जो था ना, उस दिन वो साला इंडिया चाइना का न्यूज आ गया. 15 जून को तुम देखोगे इंडिया चाइना के न्यूज आएगा.
yes,
तो
yes.
इंडिया चाइना का जब न्यूज आया था 15 जून को, तो इतना डर गया मैं, साला मीडिया अपना कमीना कुत्ता है साला। वो बॉर्डर पे इतना बड़ा इशू हुआ, लेकिन मीडिया ने इतना आउट ऑफ द प्रोपोर्शन उसको ब्लो कर दिया कि एज इफ इंडिया एंड चाइना आर गोइंग टू हैव अ वॉर। राइट नाउ द न्यूज हैज कम, इंडिया एंड चाइना हैव साइंड अ पीस एग्रीमेंट एंड दे हैव एग्रीड टू डिसएंगेज द ट्रूप्स ऑन बोथ द साइड्स। बट मीडिया ने ऐसा सिचुएशन क्रिएट किया कि इंडिया एंड चाइना आर गोइंग टू हैव अ वॉर एंड देयर वाज अ ह्यूज इफेक्ट इन द मार्केट हैड collapsed like anything. So I said, boss, better exit out of it. And then there was no entry that was given by Dixon. But that is okay, yaar. It's absolutely okay. But you should remain that skeptical. मैंने आपको जॉकी का भी एग्जांपल दिया। जॉकी ऐसे ही मैं मतलब एक बार अंडरवेयर खरीदने गया था, तब जाकर मेरे को पेज इंडस्ट्रीज पता चला। देन पेज gave me a huge amount of money. And the other day also, I'll show you, मतलब even day before yesterday, पेज का एक सेकंड, मैं आपको गूगल ईमेल खोलने दो। This is just, page had fallen like anything in this corona virus pandemic. अरे यार कोरोना आ गया तो लोग क्या चड्डी पहनना छोड़ देंगे यार? कुछ भी मतलब ये करते। So let me just show you. यार ये गूगल सर्च इज सम, ईमेल सर्च जो है ना गूगल का, वो बहुत ही बकवास है। It doesn't search it easily. I hope you are able to see it. Summary of transactions page, चड्डी वाला कंपनी है, वो सब पेज दिखा रहा है मेरे को। हाँ सर, पेज इंडस्ट्रीज का नहीं यार, ये नहीं, लॉजिकल नहीं दिखा रहा है। इट्स ओके। So you need to understand that the practical knowledge will never die. You will get a lot of importance of this practical knowledge. I hope you understood and you like the lecture. Another lecture we'll take up tomorrow. Thank you. We'll start up with the general meeting chapter tomorrow in the law at 8 p.m. in the evening. In the morning, I am not be taking lectures. In the morning, I am going to go on for a trek. Thank you. Bye-bye. Good night.